All right, last year, electric scooters and bikes were the cause of 216 fires, and 6 New Yorkers died because of them. Councilman Robert Holden from the 30th District recently introduced legislation that would ban e-bikes and e-scooters from the city. He is here to tell us more. I want to welcome Robert Holden. Robert, thanks for being here today.
Great to be here.
All right, let's get right to it. I have a 12-year-old in the city. I'm constantly telling him to be careful while he's crossing the street. I let him know that just because the light is red doesn't mean that an e-bike or an e-scooter is not going to come right through and hurt him, and to be almost more worried about the e-bikes and the e-scooters than the automobiles, because they'll stop at the red light. Tell me your impetus for this particular bill, if you could.
Well, if you're walking around New York City or even driving around New York City, you have to have eyes in the back of your head now. So, like you said, crossing the street is now, it's a hazard. And the worst place to be, the most dangerous place to be in New York City is in the crosswalk. Most of the people that are getting hit by vehicles, including cars, trucks, are in the crosswalks. But now you have these e-scooters and e-bikes and you name it, people on these electric vehicles think that because they're not registered, because you don't have to have a license, because they're not insured, they can just not observe any traffic laws, do anything they want, go up one-way streets, run red lights, you name it, they're doing it. There's no controls. And what the city council made a mistake in 2020 was putting no restrictions on these vehicles. Yeah, they said you have to observe traffic laws, but good luck doing that, because I would say most of the people that ride these vehicles are not observing any traffic laws. But the worst thing now is they're bringing them into their apartments, into buildings, and they're charging them with these unsafe chargers apparently, and causing multiple fires, and like you said, killing people. So you have chances of getting killed on the streets and then now in your apartment because of these.
So now they're in the commercial fabric now of New York, right? I mean, all our food is delivered this way, all our fast food and takeout, messengers. How do we take a step back to try and do something to regulate the industry now where it's become such a fabric of New York?
Well, these are for bikes that go under 25. Technically, if it goes over 25, you have to have a license, insurance, and so forth, registration. So what I'm saying is we have to stop it in its tracks right now. And the first thing we have to do is just repeal that 2020 bill and then go back to the drawing board. And that could be at the same time. That means we could have a similar bill that the state has to put this one through to just make the owner of these 25 and under bikes, miles per hour, register, get a license, and get insurance. And that, so let's say a restaurant would just have to do that. They'd have to get either over 25 mile an hour vehicles right away, or if they have the under 25, just simply, get insurance and so forth and register them.
Where's the pushback coming from?
Well, it's coming from the bike advocates, because there's these e-bikes that people are riding, and they go fast, by the way. And I think
sure, they're very fast.
Yeah, and like you said, you're crossing the street and you're looking for vehicles. All of a sudden, somebody comes from behind you, traveling down the wrong way on the street, and could hit you. And that's been happening. People are getting killed. Pedestrians are getting killed. There's multiple accidents. Can't have this free for all in New York City. It's mayhem on the streets. So let's get smarter here. Let's regulate them. That's all I'm saying here.
And I also see the insurance as a big issue, because I've had cases in my office where people come to me all the time and they get hit by there's pedestrians and they get hit, and there's no insurance. There's no recourse.
And that's why they flee. When they hit someone, they're not insured, so they're personally responsible for this if they stop. So that's why so many people flee. I just don't see anything. We have to go back to the drawing board on this.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second. Let's say we get more police involved, and we have people on the different streets giving out these types of tickets. Do you think that'll make a difference, as opposed to just banning them? Is there any in between that we could do?
Well, I brought that up with my local precinct, and you know what they say?
What?
They say, cops say, we can't chase them.
Right.
And first of all, you don't announce that to the world
No,
or to this,
no.
to everyone that you're not going to chase them, because that's what they want to hear. So they just take off. I had one that was doing one of these. It was a four-wheel, and they're illegal, by the way, the ATVs. But they were doing wheelies in front of a school, and I was standing outside the school with a police commanding officer, and he said, "Well, yeah, we can't chase them." I said, "What are you doing? That guy's going back and forth. Why don't you at least get guys on both sides, cops
Right.
on both sides of the the intersections here, and stop them?" "Oh, we can't chase them. So he's gonna flee." And so again, that's a
It is
ridiculous situation.
it is like the Wild West. It really is.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine anybody who doesn't ride an e-bike not supporting the bill. Not supporting the repeal, should I say?
Well, here's what the advocates, the ones that are really pro electric vehicles or pro bicycles, what they say is cars are much more dangerous.
Big cars stop at lights.
Right, most cars do.
Well,
I
they
mean,
try
have some-
to, and then there's stop signs, and cars are much more dangerous. But at the same time, I think more accidents are caused by these e-bikes and e-scooters than car accidents. If you look at per capita of the amount of bikes on the road.
Yeah, percentage, sure, because I think most of us will agree that if you see an e-bike or e-scooter or moped stop at a light, you're surprised. Because
Yeah,
I have
they don't.
I have a window out, like a couple of windows in my office. I'm looking out on an intersection, and I know, they're not going to stop. And I would say 90% don't stop at traffic lights.
All right. So final thoughts. What? Look in your crystal ball. What are the odds that this ends up happening? That you're able to repeal it?
I think it'll happen, but it's going to take more deaths, and that's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
I think people are going to reach a point where we got to stop this. And I'm just, I had a fire in my district, and there was a daycare, and 18 kids were hurt. One is still in critical condition because of the fire, and that was in like a one-family dwelling. It's just imagine again a fire, like the Twin Parks, fire.
Horrible.
That's what it might take. I'm hoping it won't.
Right. All right. Well, Councilmember Robert Holden, I want to thank you very much for being here, and hopefully you can come back and we could have another discussion with you.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks so much.